For a potluck party, I have 3 basic principles. Make it ahead, make things that travel well, and make it so delicious. So for this party, I'm making short ribs and cheddar dill cornbread. How good does that sound? So what I did was I asked the butcher for 9 short ribs, and I asked him to trim the fat off them. I've got nice, big, meaty short ribs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to roast them first, and then I'm going to put them in a big pot with all kinds of wine and vegetables and just cook them up slowly so they're really tender and delicious. So I have 9 short ribs. Extra one in the middle. Just sprinkle them with lots of salt and pepper. I'm going to roast them at high temperature, 400 degrees, for about 15 minutes. And what that's going to do is really caramelize and sear the meat instead of doing it on the top of a stove, which is so annoying. And then into the oven, 400 degrees for 15 minutes. And then it's going to go all into a big stock pot. Okay, into the oven. Best thing about a potluck party is I love surprises. Can't wait to see what TR is making for dessert. So while the short ribs sear in the oven, I'm going to get the vegetables for the sauce ready. So I'm going to chop up lots of vegetables and then cook them over low heat in a stock pot and really caramelize the flavors, get the wonderful flavors into the sauce. The first thing I'm starting with is 1 large leek, which is really in the onion family, but a milder onion flavor. Very classic for sauces. And what I did was I washed it really, really well, because sometimes there's sand in leeks. I'm going to heat up a 1/4 cup of oil. I need a big stock pot for this, because all the vegetables and the short ribs are going to go into this. And while that heats up, I'm going to get 1 fennel chopped up. Fennel's kind of unusual vegetable, but it's pretty much available everywhere now. Just cut off the tops, cut off the end if it's browned, and then what I like to do is take out the core. So just run your knife down the middle, and you can see the core is right there. It's that little triangle. So just take it out. It's just a little tougher than the rest of the fennel. Fennel is really this wonderful anise flavor. If you haven't had it, I have to say I'm not a fan of raw fennel, but cooked fennel is so delicious. So I'm just going to chop it up. I've got all kinds of vegetables in this sauce, and the more vegetables, the more flavored it is. Fennel and leeks and carrots and celery and onions, and it all blends together. Just cooked for a long time. It just flavors the sauce. Beef short ribs can be really rich, so I like a really nice fresh vegetable sauce to go with it. So oil's nice and hot, so in goes the fennel and leeks. Just toss them right in. And I have lots more vegetables to put in the sauce. I've got 2 onions, 4 cups of celery, and 2 carrots. I'm going to just put them right in. This gives the sauce so much flavor and texture. It's wonderful. And when the short ribs are so rich, that really the vegetables in the sauce really cut that. Fabulous. Just going to give it a big stir. I'm going to cook this for about 15-20 minutes until the vegetables are really tender and browned. And then I'm going to add wine. I'm going to add herbs. It's going to be delicious. So I've been cooking a whole pot of vegetables, fennel and leeks, carrots, onions, until they're really nice and soft, about 20 minutes. So I've got 3 cloves of garlic, just right into the pot. I'm going to cook them for just about a minute, so you get all the flavor but not burnt. Okay, give it a little stir. Does this smell good? You can even smell the garlic already. Okay, now I'm going to put some tomato paste in, about 2 tablespoons. It's going to really intensify the sauce. And a whole bottle of red wine. I'm actually using Burgundy. I always cook with something I'd want to serve for dinner. You don't want to use a cheap wine in your cooking and then it tastes like cheap dinner. Fabulous. So this is going to cook for about 10 minutes until the wine is reduced by half, and it'll really intensify the flavors. Oh, I think I can smell those short ribs searing in the oven. I'm going to go see how they're doing. Oh my God, they're just gorgeous, nice and brown. I'm going to turn the oven down to 300. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the short ribs into the sauce and then put it all back in the oven. And it's going to cook slowly for a long time until those short ribs, you can just eat them with a spoon. This is great. Okay, now I'm going to season the sauce. I'm going to put in a tablespoon of salt, a teaspoon of pepper, Okay, give that a big stir. Okay, now I'm gonna make an herb bouquet. It's sort of like a bouquet garni, but just 2 herbs. So I've got rosemary and fresh thyme. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tie them together. If I just put them in the sauce, then fishing out the stems would be impossible. But if I tie them together and just fish out the whole bundle, get all of the flavor and none of the problems. Okay, right into the sauce. Okay, so I'm just gonna put the ribs in. Just put them right on top of the sauce. Tiara's dessert better be really good after this. It's a challenge to see whose is better. Somehow I think it will be. Okay, that's perfect fit. 9 short ribs right in. Okay, next a little bit of a surprise ingredient. Tablespoon of brown sugar really brings out the sweetness in the vegetable and caramelizes everything. And 6 cups of beef stock. I have homemade beef stock, but if you can find good beef stock in the store, that's fine too. Homemade's always better. So this is a lot of liquid, and it's just gonna simmer slowly in this stock and the sauce and all the juices from the short ribs. Oh my God, this is gonna be so good. Okay, now I'm just gonna bring this up to a simmer. Give it a stir. You want it simmering when it goes in the oven so it starts cooking right away. Whoa, that's a big pot. The short ribs have been cooking for about 2 hours. They're gonna be meltingly tender. What I'm gonna do is, oh, how good does that look? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the short ribs out of the sauce, and then I'm gonna reduce the sauce down even further. These are gonna just be wonderful. Oh, they're just completely falling apart. Look at that. I'd say TR is gonna be very happy with this dinner. So the point of reducing the sauce is just really intensify the flavor. Whoa, they're just completely falling off the bone. The wonderful part of having bones in the sauce is it really flavors it and thickens it. So I'm gonna take all of these out. It's amazing how much the short ribs actually reduce in size when they're cooking. They look pretty big when they start, but by now they're really smaller. So I think 2 or 3 per person is great. So I'm gonna take out our little bundle of herbs that has just nothing but stems now. And that's why we tie it together. And I'm gonna skim off some of the fat because you really don't want the sauce to be too greasy. The short ribs are rich enough as it is. I'm gonna reduce this on simmer for about 20 minutes till it's rich and thick and delicious. It tastes so good. You can really taste the beef and the vegetables and the wine, the garlic, fantastic. This is gonna be really good. Okay, so now I'm just gonna put the short ribs right back in and let them heat up together. Right in the sauce. Try and do it without getting it all over me. Perfect. This is just gonna be fantastic. And the good news is gonna stay nice and hot while I take it to TR's. The dirty little secret about my foolproof ribs is they're actually cooked in the oven until they're falling off the bone and absolutely delicious. And then at the last minute, I throw them on the grill and they get that really charred flavor. They're so good and they're so easy to do. So for the barbecue sauce, I'm starting with 1 onion that I sauteed in vegetable oil. I'm gonna put in 1 tablespoon of chopped garlic. Just cook it for a minute because you don't want to overcook the garlic. 1 cup of tomato paste. It's got a lot of ingredients, but frankly, a lot of them you probably already have in your pantry. 1 cup of cider vinegar, a little acidity in this. 1 cup of honey. Actually adds a little sweetness, and then it'll caramelize on the grill. 1 cup of Dijon mustard. It's a lot, I know. 1 cup of hoisin sauce. That's the start of the Asian ingredients. 1/2 cup of Worcestershire sauce. 1/2 cup of soy sauce. You still with me? 2 tablespoons of chili powder. That's 1 and 2. 1 tablespoon of ground cumin. Just gives great flavor, really depth of flavor. And a little bit of heat, 1½ teaspoons of crushed red pepper flakes. I want it to be a little hot, right? I'm just gonna bring that to a boil. Mix everything together and let it simmer for 30 minutes. All those flavors are just gonna deepen and get absolutely delicious. They're gonna be so good with the ribs. The barbecue sauce is ready. Time to make the ribs. I use St. Louis ribs, and I find them perfect. They have a lot of meat on the bone, and they're not too big to handle. Okay, so that's 2 teaspoons of salt and 1 teaspoon of pepper. I just season the meat side, not the bone side. And now I'm just gonna slather it with barbecue sauce. So big ladle. I always use aluminum foil underneath it so it's easy to clean up, because these are good and messy. So now I'm gonna cover them loosely with foil, 350 degrees for an hour and 45 minutes until the meat is falling off the bone. Whoa, don't those look fantastic? So at this point, I put on a little more barbecue sauce because I think it really needs it. And this is gonna really caramelize on the grill, get that nice barbecue flavor. Okay, and the rest of it, I'm gonna pour into a dish and take outside for dipping once they're all done. Okay, I've got the ribs, I've got the sauce. See you at the grill. I'm just gonna brush it with oil just to make sure the ribs don't stick. Just extra precaution. Whoa, that's a little more exciting than I thought. Okay, let's grill these ribs. I'll place them on the grill, ribs side down. Put the lid on with the vents open and grill them for 5 minutes. Then take the lid off, turn the ribs meat side down, put the lid back on, and cook them for another 5 minutes. Oh wow, look how delicious and perfectly browned these are. So I'll put them on a board, cover them tightly with aluminum foil, and let them rest for 10 minutes. These look fantastic. I only wish you could smell them. This looks so good. They're meaty, they're flavorful, they're tender. You know what? Once I stopped incinerating ribs on the grill and started roasting them first and then barbecuing them, there's no going back. If the question is what to serve at a beach barbecue, the answer's gotta be hamburgers. But I'm not talking about some weird flavor hamburgers. I'm talking about the classics, but with great ingredients, so the volume's turned up. I'm starting with 2 pounds of ground beef. Not just any ground beef. I use Niman Ranch ground beef to make them really moist, and nobody wants a dry hamburger. I'm gonna put in 3 tablespoons of olive oil. You won't believe what a difference this makes. To make them really flavorful, I'm gonna do a tablespoon of mustard. That's about a tablespoon. Fantastic. Teaspoon each of salt and pepper. And then the key to this is using a fork. You don't want to compact it at all. You want it to be light. So just mix it together with a fork. Keep it light. Niman Ranch cows are actually grown on grass rather than corn, and they have so much flavor. They're just delicious. So 2 pounds will make about 6 hamburgers. And they're gonna be so good on the grill at the beach. So just roll it around, about 1/3 pound per hamburger. Roll it around carefully, but don't compact it. That's one. After I've made the hamburgers, I'm gonna chill them. And while they chill, I'm gonna make caramelized onions to put on top. And then I'm gonna get the clams ready, and then it's off to the beach. My butcher actually carries Niman Ranch beef, and I ask for it 80% lean, 20% fat to make sure they're really delicious and moist. But you can really use any premium grass-fed beef. Just like with everything else, I don't like ingredients that sort of overpower the main ingredient. I really want this to taste like absolutely delicious hamburgers. And I really think olive oil, mustard, salt, and pepper really just does that. I've invited 5 friends to the beach. Michael and Jim offered to do the setup. I mean, who would turn that down? I don't know. If it were me, it would probably be barbecue, a beach blanket, and friends, but something tells me it's gonna be a little fancier than that. So I brush the grill with a little oil, because what it does is it stops the burgers from sticking, and it also makes better grill marks, and we do love good grill marks. I put the burgers on one side. Is that good for you? I put the burgers on one side, and then I put the English muffins on the other side. Now, these look good.
Great.
The one thing you never want to do is press them down, because it takes all the juices out. You want the juices in the burger. Depending on how hot the grill is, it's about 4 minutes on each side. These are going to be so delicious. I have caramelized onions for the top.
They look perfect.
Okay, I'm going to flip them. Ooh, they look great. These look fab.
Perfect.
Are we having fun yet?
We're having fun.
Now, this is my idea of back to basics. The beach, good friends, glass of wine, and hamburgers. I mean, life doesn't get any better than this.
Can't get any better. I love English muffins and burgers.
Me too. I'm so glad you do. There's something about the combination. It's like the perfect thing. Grilled English muffins.
Yes.
Yes. I think the hamburgers are done. I'm just going to heat up the caramelized onions. I made slowly caramelized onions with a little bit of cherry vinegar for the top of the burgers. Just heat them up. Okay, everybody, burgers are ready. But I know nobody really wants one, right? Hurry before Michael and I eat them all. No.
Ooh, English muffins, my fave.
Caramelized
I
onions?
think yes, all around.
All around. Oh, fab. Whoa. Fantastic. Cheers, everybody. Cheers.
All right.
Well, raw oysters are perfectly great. I actually prefer them a little grilled with some lemon dill butter. I'm gonna get the grill set up. So I've got hot coals in the charcoal chimney. So I'm gonna dump them out. Okay, 1 layer of coals. Just gonna spread them out a little bit. I don't want to incinerate these. I want to just slightly grill them. Okay, grate goes on. Next, I need aluminum foil. So this is my trick. What you want to do is keep the oysters upright, so all the oyster liquor and the butter stay in the shell. And I found if I put sprinkled foil right on the grill, I can just set the oysters in the foil, and it all stays in the shell. So while I put the oysters on the grill, I'll show you how I prepared them. I put 1/4 pound of room temperature butter in the bowl of an electric mixer fitted with a paddle attachment, along with a teaspoon of minced garlic, a teaspoon of minced fresh dill, 1/2 teaspoon of lemon zest, a tablespoon of freshly squeezed lemon juice, 3/4 teaspoon of kosher salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and just mixed everything together. Then I used 2 small spoons to put about a teaspoon of herb butter on each oyster. I had bought them shucked on the half shell. Okay, last 2 on. I made these once for Jeffrey and went crazy. So I'm gonna put the lid on, make sure the vents are open, and grill them for exactly 3 minutes. Okay, time's up, and they smell amazing. You can tell they're done when the butter's just sizzling and they just start to cook. Oh, this is gonna be so good. Just gonna put them on a platter. The butter's melted and the oysters just ever so slightly cooked. I'm using Blue Point oysters from Long Island. They're really nice and plump, but pick any oysters you really like. Make sure they're really meaty. You know what I always say, cook oysters and a man shows up. And a little fleur de sel at the end, just to bring out the flavors. Uh-oh, trouble just arrived.
What's here?
So I made grilled oysters with lemon dill butter. You don't want any, do you?
No, I'll just take the whole plate. Well, that looks good.
He's a very good audience. So you just pick one up like that.
Okay.
And use your fork. They're hot, very hot, and just eat it.
Oh, that's
That's
delicious.
really good, isn't that good? And then you can just sort of, so good. Tequila lime chicken. It's like Jeffrey's favorite Friday night roast chicken, but with the volume turned up. What I'm doing is I'm gonna make a marinade for the boneless chicken breasts, and it's gonna make them taste so fabulous. So the first thing is a half a cup of tequila, always helps. And the next is freshly squeezed lime. It's really important. None of that bottled stuff. You really do need freshly squeezed lime juice. It makes all the difference in the world. So 1 cup of freshly squeezed lime juice. That actually also tenderizes the chicken. Half a cup of orange juice to give it a little sweetness. Chili powder to give it heat. 1 tablespoon. If you want more heat, you can use more chili powder. That smells so good. Tablespoon of chopped garlic to give it spice. And this is the key ingredient, jalapeno pepper. It's really hot. I'm gonna show you how this works. So you slice right in the middle, and what's really hot is the seeds. So I'm just gonna take the seeds out. And while you're working on this pepper, be sure that you don't touch anything you really care about before you wash your hands, because it's incredibly hot. Don't rub your eye. What I'm gonna do is just chop this finely. I like the tequila lime chicken to have a little bit of heat, but I don't want to have 3rd-degree burns when we're done. So that goes right in. It's going to be so good. Two teaspoons of salt. Teaspoon of ground black pepper. And then the last thing is chicken. So I've got 6 boneless chicken breasts. I actually like them with the skin on. I think they stay moister. So I asked the butcher to take the bone off, but leave the skin on. And I'm just gonna put them in the marinade. The great thing about this is not only is it good to leave it overnight, but it's actually, the more it sits in the marinade, the better it tastes. So it's a wonderful thing to do for entertaining. So that's tequila lime chicken. It's gonna be so good on the grill.